What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be working on that 2011 450 that you guys saw earlier on here in the channel, where we located a coolant leak. Now we're going to fix it. We're going to be doing some coolant tube crossover gaskets on this 6.7, and you guys are coming along for the ride. All right, let's go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So glad you guys come back. Hope you're having a good day. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe right here. We're back. You guys told me you wanted to see a part two, so here it is, part two. We're back on the 11 450, 218,000, I think, maybe. All original, but we have some fluid leaks, and we verified last video that the coolant crossover tube gaskets are leaking. Now, since we're going to be in here, I'm going to be removing and replacing this coolant supply tube for the turbo, the oil supply tube to the turbo, and that fitting, and that fitting. All three of those fitting have the Jesus clips, because when you lose it, you say, Jesus Christ. Well, I'm going to show you guys. To successfully remove those, I've already dropped my 8mm socket, which was right here. Now it's back there. We had a successful search and rescue mission, but nonetheless, I have already removed the intake manifold, courtesy of Urban 3D. If you guys need to get some 3D printed covers for your 6.7, we have the intake ports, we have the oil cooler ports, and the oil filter housing adapter port block off, which is pretty cool when you're working on these trucks, so you don't drop things down in there, and then you don't have oil dripping down on you when you're underneath the truck. So once you get the intake manifold off, you guys have already seen me do this 100 times. I didn't have to show you again. If you want to know, I will put the link in the description so you can quickly breeze over and see how it's not that big of a deal to do. However, to make that job just one bit special, I highly suggest that you get a Milwaukee long neck. Whether it's the Milwaukee or the Snap-on, having the long neck makes this job seriously so much better. So once you get this off, I have not drained any of the coolant yet because I wanted to pressure test it with you guys and verify we had a leak here with everything disassembled. I'm going to go ahead and drain the coolant. Actually, while we are going to be doing some paperwork inside, I'm going to come back to it, and we are all together going to be taking this piece off. We have 4 8s here, we have 4 8s here, 5 of which is holding, bolt number 5 is which is just holding the other side of this plastic housing to the coolant crossover tube. These bolts right here go all the way through. This bolt right here does not. There's only 3 bolts holding this plastic piece to this. These 2 long bolts go all the way through, and this bolt right here is just the 3rd triangle bolt that holds this to the aluminum. These 2 bolts here, there's one here and one right on the other side of my finger, that holds that down to the cylinder head. So, coolant drain. We are going to be messing with this pipe. I do have an O-ring in case we're going to separate this fitting. We have some 8 millis here, a 10 holding the harness on. We got some vacuum line malarkey bull crap right here. I told you guys last video we are replacing the hose. I do see these leak. You don't have to replace the hose. You can. Oh wow! Did you just see it leak? Oh, let me reenact that again. Oh look! No way. So this thing needed a hose anyway. I just caused it to leak, so that's good. This probably is, well, could be an original hose, but if you guys did not notice, you can actually replace the rubber seals in the ends of all of our upper and lower hoses. So I didn't know if you guys knew that, but in case you didn't, now you do. Joe. Kind of dirty. And I want to talk about this right here. See how these kind of look like cracks in the aluminum? I just had a guy with a 2020 kind of complain of the same thing, and they're not cracks. It is imperfections in the casting, and the oil kind of sits down in those grooves. So like that right there, see how it looks like it's pitted and it's cracked? Watch. It's just oil accumulating in the grooves of the aluminum. So note to self, don't have to worry, but damn dude, that's kind of nasty. I'm gonna be trying to show you guys. I have the GoPro set up and we're gonna try to make this as easy as possible for all of us. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, the coolant has been draining all night. I'm gonna go ahead and take the clip off of the upper hose. The new hose that we're gonna be replacing has a new clip, so we're not gonna have to worry about that. Both sides, one at the radiator and one in the engine. Then you're gonna be just pulling right up on the hose and wiggling it off of the radiator. Get this guy out of here. Got a little bit of coolant in it. We have an ECT sensor right here. We're gonna take that off. Now remember what I was telling you last scene, we have 3 bolts holding the thermostat housing to the crossover tube. But these 2 bolts right here are real long and they go all the way through to the cylinder head. These are 8 milli. I'm gonna go ahead and rip these out. And then the housing is just gonna kind of come off. I need a hammer do. Let's see. There we go. We're gonna have to reuse this. Got a couple little dowels that it sits down on. Check out that thermostat though. Look at that. The actual O-ring was tearing on it. So usually what I'll do to pull these out is just get your pair of pliers and pull up on it, and you can check it out. Look at that. And things are completely wasted. So Joe, good thing we're replacing these thermostats, huh? Heck yeah, I ain't putting these things back in. Okay, so we have 2 more bolts that are holding the crossover tube. These are also 8 millis. These can't get confused because they can't go in this hole because of the housing cover. So it's not really something you got to worry about. Now this truck does have a S&S disaster prevention kit on it, so we're just going to work around that. It's not going to be too much in our way, but we are going to have to mess with this 8 milli that has got the fuel line tethered to it. I'm just going to take that out. Set the bolt aside. We are going to reuse that. Now here are some 8 millis that we could kind of loosen. I'm going to come back here with a ratcheting wrench and I'm going to kind of do something like this, and then I'm going to get the other one. I'm going to do the same thing and I'll show you. This is going to allow this bracket to be just a little looser and allow that crossover tube to just come right around. See that? There we go. We got just a little bit more play in this bracket and crossover tube come right out. All right, we have one more tether right over here. I don't know if you guys can see that. Can you? Oh, wait, you can. No way. Awesome. 8 milli. I'm gonna go right here. Good thing this one though has got a flap on it, so we can just flap that thing right up, no biggie. But what we are going to have to do is take this pipe off. I'm going to take this pipe, this connection. We have 2 old style heater core line connections. I'm just going to squeeze that right off, these right here. And then we have an 8 milli. See if I can get the gun in here. Yep. Just gonna take this bolt out. Now, I do have an O-ring for this tube. Sometimes the crossover tube and this connected is gonna hit. So what we could do is get our 8 milli and loosen this. I'll put a new O-ring on that pipe, but now check out what we can do. We can swing that totally out of the way so that we're not gonna be fiddle farting with that. Okay, we have to get the turbo coolant line. I'm gonna come back here with a pair of 45-degree angle pliers. We have a new tube. I'm gonna try to go like this. Try to get it off. There we go. Okay, just make sure it's loose. Give it a little twisty twist. Nope, still didn't break the seal. There we go. Now we broke the seal. Okay, turbo time. You guys can see this fitting right here. It's got enough fisheye you guys can see. And you just pop this little black cover off. All right. And you guys can see very closely, there's a Jesus clip. And although the new fittings come with a new Jesus clip, I am more concerned about losing this clip and dropping it in the valley, allowing something to potentially fall into the crankcase while I have the turbo in the removal process. That would not be a good thing. So you gotta just work it out. I have one side out. Here's the other side. There we go. Jesus clip. Now since we're here, guys, I'm gonna do the same thing to the oil one. Ouch. Ooh, this one's actually leaking too. Well, good job. We're doing some preventativeness here. I like to hammer these out if I have this stuff apart. This is kind of silly not to. The pickup trucks are just a little harder. They have the dual compressor turbo and made it just a little more difficult to get the Jesus clip out and so forth. But we have one more down here, one more Jesus clip, and I don't care if this one falls in the valley or not. I can always retrieve it with a magnet or something more easily seen. Let's see if I can do it right off the rip. We need some more lumens. I got it. Come on, Clippy. Where are you at, Clippy? Just trying to find the other foot. Oh, almost had it. All right, there's one half. There's the other half. Can I get it and save it? Can I save it before it falls? I got it. Good googly moogly. That thing is juicy. It's a little cold out and I kind of can't feel my fingers. It's not snowing, but it is cold. All right, the only way to really get these puppies out is kind of doing something like this with the pry bar and watch the line kind of pop right out of the turbo. See how it did that? And only after that can you relieve this line from its duty on the crossover tube. And if you broke the seal, this line should slide right off. Ta-da! Well, since we're here, might as well do the oil one too. Top's got to come out first. Ask me how I know. Trust me. Top's out. And we just do a little wiggly wiggly. And then we can break the bottom loose. Like that. See how it come right out? See it come right out, boys? I like it. I like it a lot. However, that does make a very useful handle when you're manhandling the turbo out. All right, okay, let's swing our tube out back into position. And we need to get a 10 milli. We have a harness sitting on here. Let's see if we go ahead and rip that thing off. Got it, got it. Now we can move this guy out the way. And we have a trim clip Need to get that trim clip. Let me move this hose out your way. Let's see if we can just pop these guys right off. Perfect. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 bolts and a couple of trim clips here. Let's see if I can pop these ones off the front. They look a little crispy. I'm gonna choose to take the lines out of the clip. Ah, you've chosen wisely, my son. Okay, 8 milli coming back at you. But I need to go for that wobbly because we're in a little weird position. 8 milli. 8 milli coming at you. I'm gonna take stuff apart. Like this is the right side bolts, and you guys might, be like, hey, I'm gonna mess these up. Well, keep these bolts on the right side of the cowl, or the right side battery, or something on the right side. All right, we are all free. Is this gonna be as loose as I think it is? As I think it is? Let's see. Let me get another little pry bar. I don't want to pull up on that pipe. I don't want to bend that pipe. Where can I prise? I could go against the block right here. No? Front cover? Oh, there we go. Boom. She loose. That's what we wanted. Let's check it out. Okay, just wiggling out. Wiggly diggly. Okay, here she comes. Here's the driver's side gasket, untouched. Let's look how flat these are. Dang. There's like no gasket even left. All right, here's the passenger side. Wow. Ugh. That's crazy. Well, I would definitely say we have our use out of these gaskets. Let's compare to the new ones, eh? We have a whole baggie full of stuff. Here's the new ones. Look at the rubber on that. Holy cannoli. All right, well, that's was definitely our leak, coupled with a small leaking turbo oil fitting. We're gonna replace that. And the only thing with those are a 19 mil. I use a 3/8 drive socket. I'm sorry, a 3/8 drive ratchet and a 19 mil socket. But this one down here, I believe, since it's the big boy, I want to say inch socket. I want to say inch. Something's telling me inch. Yeah, this is a inch size socket, so you'll have to get a suitable wrench because you're not really going to get a socket on that. I mean, unless you had everything apart, but that's a different story. I wanted to show you guys part 2, especially just taking the coolant crossover tube out and getting to actually that point, so you can feel confident not only in that ruined thermostat, but like I said, the leaking O-ring on the turbo and these flat ASF coolant crossover tube gaskets. I appreciate you guys for watching. Tell me what you think about this in the comment section below. If you've actually had to been taking care of this concern, and if you had to do it outside, because right now I'm in Michigan and it's still freaking cold. I appreciate you guys. Wipe my snot. Remember to like, comment, sub, share, and I'll catch all of you next time, probably inside or under a Super Duty. I'll catch you guys later. And when you guys go to clean this, I want you to get a Scotch-Brite pad or a little Rolock disc, and you're going to clean all these surfaces of, you know, all the rubber contaminants from the old gaskets. guys.